We grow in self-esteem when we are clear on what we stand for, when we are clear about our values. When we know what our values are, we are likely to have much higher self-esteem. See, most people don't know their values, and without a centered core of values, what happens to most people is that they get thrown around by the challenges that come their way. So what is it that you value the most in life? You have to answer that for yourself. What are your most fundamental values in life? You have to identify those. Is it growth? Is it learning? Is it courage? Is it family? These are some of my fundamental values. So what are some of your most fundamental values? You have to answer those questions for yourself. You see, if you don't know your values, you will be at the mercy of external circumstances. There's a really interesting experiment that Dr. Amy Cuddy talks about in the book Present, where there were a bunch of candidates that were brought in for a very stressful interview. Now, half the group was asked to write about their values before the stressful interview, while the other half was asked to write about random values that did not hold any relation, the values that were not really useful to them. The other half of the group was asked to write about those values. Now, here's the interesting thing from that experiment. The group that wrote about their values right before a very stressful interview succeeded at a much higher rate, and they had much lower levels of stress. They actually measured them using their saliva samples. What happened was they were actually clear on what they stood for. And when people are clear on what they stand for, they're likely to have higher self-esteem. So the key here is to understand that you cannot let the world dictate what is important to you. When you are clear on your values, and when you stand for what you believe in, when you stand for your values, then you will grow in self-esteem. So here's a really simple exercise for you. Identify your core values and write about how you have incorporated those values in your life and how you have used them, in the past, and how write down 5 ways in which you will use your values to accomplish your goals, your biggest goals that you are going after right now.